A member of my family who will go unnamed sent me a letter calling me disrespectful. And it was like this letter I received from a member of my family who regularly has sent me letters in the past, and they have been very nice. And it was one about how I almost as if I wasn't performing well enough at family occasions.
Three songs that are on the EP, like from the start to finish, how long did each song, was some like songs quicker to make, or were they all kind of like similar timescales?
Him, I wrote 3 times before writing it properly. I knew what the first half of the first verse was from the beginning, because I was writing a song called Whiskey, which has my favorite lyric in it, but it was just like, it kind of went to like, just like an E chord, like the most boring zombie chord in a guitar, and I was just like, oh, fuck off, I don't want to write something which is like acoustic-y. So Him has been in the works for probably since July, and it took me a lot of times getting it wrong before I got it right. So that one probably took the most amount of time. New Face was produced predominantly by Holder, and I wrote the top line for it, but I went to him and I went, there's a song I really like on the 1975's album called I Think There's Something You Should Know. I think it's good, but it could be better. And I was like, I think that crescendo and having this huge moment in a song and just having that be the point of it, not have like a recurring chorus or anything, but have like a chorus that is kind of minimalistic and then a crescendo in a verse would be really cool. And so he produced that, and okay, I'm not even kidding. The crescendo of New Face was the first thing we did for New Face, and it was written in 15 minutes. It was one of those moments which just kind of like happened, and then I wrote the top line for it a month later. So that was great. And then Calling was probably, we started working on Calling in January last year because Wilbur came over and we do a lot of music together, and he showed me a chord progression that he'd made using C, kind of like the major 7th shape, and I really liked it and stole it. And then told him half a year later that I was going to write a song with it. And he was like, write a song with what? And I showed him the chord progression again. And he had no idea what I was talking about. So he was fine with me taking that. I've got to give him some writing credits. And then I wrote like the chorus lines and everything.
What I do want to say is, for anyone who doesn't know you, or if anyone that does know and is just wondering, when does the EP come out, James? Is it the 15th, I believe?
Oh, it's the 15th.
Yay.
Where could they pre-order the EP from?
I think you could do it on iTunes, but I don't think we have a pre-save link on Spotify, which is annoying. But yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just promote it when it comes out.
One thing I do want to ask is, how did I can already gauge probably how your friends reacted, but how did your family react? Not only when they were like, my son's becoming a YouTuber, but now he's wanting to become a wannabe musician. How have they reacted to that?
To be honest, I don't talk much with my family. My mum said she'd sent the song Him around to a few people.
Oh, really?
And they all loved it. Like a director I had when I was a kid has listened to Him and was like, and said some really lovely things about me, which was nice. My sister as well is really supportive. My dad just goes like, good song. And that's about as far as that goes. And
I feel like my parents are the same. If they just accepted that you're going to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I kind of like, everyone kind of understands that I'm just a bit in, well, you know, like how it is people that aren't in YouTube don't really understand the world that it is. And they just go like, oh, he's in his own world. He's just doing his thing. So like that's very much the connection with, even with music as well. They're just like, oh, it's just James being James, let him be, and that's pretty much about it. But yeah, my friends' like opinions are the ones that matter. Like those are the ones where I'm like, when people go to me like, oh, this is sick, I'm like, yeah, thank you. That's a really good feeling.
On the EP, you've got a song called Calling. You said about playing? Did you play the guitar solo, or did you get someone to play that guitar solo? Because the guitar solo is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's me. I do all the guitars.
That's unreal. It's gorgeous.
There's only one guitar I didn't do, and that's the guitar pad in New Face, because it was just pointless. Like, it was such a basic chord.
Were you proud of that solo?
Yeah, it's all right. I like the slowdown solo more. I think the slow down solo is really cool. Do. Like, I love that.
Oh, that is sick, yeah.
But no, the calling one's sick. But the best thing about the calling solo is the way it ends, and then the feedback feeds into that final pre-chorus, which is just like, or the C part even. And I love that.
I'm going to take a genius approach just for two things very quickly. I don't want to go too crazy on it, but so you've got two parts of it. So one of it said, "Strange how no one's here to listen in this ghost town." What on earth did you mean by that?
So I kind of like, it's a bit edgy. It's a bit like, wow, there's a population of what, like 8 million in London? Why will no one listen to my problems? Like, it's kind of like a struggle to find connections within a city. Like, I always have found it quite interesting going on the tube and no one's smiling. So it's kind of like everyone might as well just be dead. Like, that's the kind of like the vibe that I give from that. Because it's like ghosts, you know what I mean? Like, you go on a train and you're just surrounded by ghosts. That's how it feels to me. And I kind of connected that with the idea of calling and creating contact. It's kind of like an aimless, who am I going to create this contact with, you know?
I see that. So the last line, I think, was it one of the last lines or something? It was very close. It said, "I don't open letters anymore."
I love that.
Yeah, so do I. It's haunted.
I think it asks a lot of questions. See, this is the thing, is like, I remember we were finishing that song and I was like, the ending's not good. And I remembered something that happened earlier that year and I was like, wait, this is kind of like, it's on the same vibe. It's all about contact and kind of like the transitioning to calling from kind of previous modes of communication. And the "I don't open letters anymore," I think it's just like, it comes at the most like powerful moment of the song. And I almost like, I like the mystery behind it because it's like, what does this mean? But I think a lot of people can kind of relate to it in their own little ways, even if it's just from receiving bills that you don't want to open. And like, I have anxiety opening fucking...
I do that all the time.
I have anxiety opening letters, right? So that's just like, I don't open letters. Like, I always have like 3 unopened letters on my desk because I just don't want to open them. But it was also a member of my family who will go unnamed sent me a letter calling me disrespectful. And it was like this letter I received from a member of my family who regularly has sent me letters in the past, and they have been very nice. And it was one about how I almost as if I wasn't performing well enough at family occasions. But it fucking really got to me. And I remember I opened it and I cried, and I was just like, why the fuck wouldn't you just call me? Like, that was like the experience I had in my head. So I texted them and then didn't talk to them for half a year. So it was just like that to me is like, now that's also fed into this anxiety I have of opening letters. So this big "I don't open letters anymore" is kind of like it's almost a fuck you to the outside world, because it's like, after all of these songs, after this EP, I am in control. Like, I choose who I let in. I don't open letters anymore. I don't let people in unless I want them.
I think it's been a very interesting journey to see. Like, it's definitely been like a mental process, and I can see it, like, to try and channel that quite artistically is definitely very, very, like, it's nice to see.